A while ago, someone posted a creative writing assignment online. I read it, and the assignment was write a short poem where you start with where I'm from. It resonated with me and decided to write a little poem. Where I'm from. Where I'm from, it feels like war awaits on the corner of every street, while unconditional love is ready to sweep you off your feet. Where I'm from, it feels like a warm hug on a cold winter's night, and like a stab in the back when you didn't even want to fight. Where I'm from, it feels like the long-lasting peace we never had. I contradict myself a lot when it comes to Afghanistan. I would talk to my friends about how beautiful the nature there is, how lovely the people are, and how amazing the historic sites are. But the next day, you will definitely find me at a protest against deportation of Afghan refugees back to the country. How does one talk about a country in conflict without diminishing its beauty? If you were to ask me if Afghanistan is safe, I would reply, no. But if you were to give me a ticket to Kabul, I would gladly take it from you, say thank you, and go. I've never understood why I have this big connection with Afghanistan. I spent most of my life in the Netherlands. And while I was here, I never understood what people meant with the sentence, there's no place like home. To me, everywhere just felt home-ish. But the first time when I went to Afghanistan, the moment I walked in the streets of Kabul, I felt like the missing piece of the puzzle just clicked. And I actually understood what home feels like. And yes, Kabul is chaotic and hectic, and the streets are full with dust. But somehow I was walking around going, these are my street, this is my dust, everything is mine, mine, mine. This is my traffic light which keeps on changing its lights, but nobody really cares, and they just drive. It's an option. Whenever I think about Afghanistan, I think about the conflict. We cannot ignore one about the other. When people talk about Afghanistan, they always get this idea of a conflict area. And then, why am I going there anyway? Why do I want to go there every year? I have this urge to just visit and visit and visit. Whenever I go to Afghanistan, I usually go to the city of Herat. That's where my family lives and where my parents are born. When I think about Afghanistan, I think about warm memories. However, the country isn't safe. So when I go to Afghanistan, I always think about the risks that I'm taking. I create this illusion of safety. I call it an illusion because Afghanistan is unsafe. There's this interesting notion within the European Union countries where they state that Afghanistan has internal safe zones. And they use it as a justification to send refugees back. They say, oh, but you're from an internal safe zone. Even though your country is in conflict, you can still go there. And I found the notion of an internal safe zone in a country of conflict quite strange. And when it comes to Afghanistan, a safe zone doesn't exist because the government is so powerful or because the foreign forces are so strong. It actually exists just by the grace of the militants going, we're not going to attack today. But just recently, a so-called safe zone was attacked. People who were forced to flee and many died. One of these safe zones is also considered Kabul, which we all watch the news and we've seen all the stories about the attacks that happened there. Just recently, one of my mother's former classmates for university who lived in the US decided to go and visit Afghanistan. He went to the so-called safe Kabul. He went to a very safe hotel, and then the attack happened and he passed away. So knowing this, why do I keep going back to Afghanistan? My husband, who grew up there and still lives there, thinks I'm more or less crazy for wanting to be there. We'll always have discussions where I just talk about the beauty and go, oh, this is amazing. And he'll just pinpoint the problematic aspects of it. We always have these discussions. And clearly, when I'm in Afghanistan, I'm aware of what is happening. And I have a privileged position that I say, but I can go back. And I see you cannot walk around Kabul and ignore the conflict. The conflict plays a big role in the way the city is. There's a security check every few minutes, which reminds you of what might happen. And one thing which really has changed the cityscape are the big blast walls. These blast walls are huge gray walls around important buildings in the city, which have to protect, let's say, the embassies or other governmental buildings. So you can imagine walking through The Hague and then seeing all these gray walls around the embassies we have here. It doesn't change the way, it changes the way the city looks, but it also really changes the way you look at the city and how you feel when you walk there. So you can try as hard as you want to ignore the conflict, but it's right in front of you when you walk. One really good project which has kind of created through these blast walls was made by the creative collective called Art Lords. They decided, okay, these ugly walls have taken over our city. We cannot destroy them, but we can paint them. And that's what they did. They decided to put powerful messages or other commemorative messages about victims or anything else which can empower the people who have to walk through these every day. To me, these images or these ideas shows how people of Afghanistan still try to continue having hope and how they take something which has the conflict and create something beautiful out of it. And what I found striking about this last image is how a soldier is looking at the painters from above. So you see the beauty, but you always see the conflict with it. Despite all this hardship, people in Afghanistan still continue with their lives. I view the conflict and the security situation in Afghanistan in two folds. There are the big aspects, which we always see in the news, the attacks, the militant actions. But there's also this personal safety issue. So you might get kidnapped, you might get robbed. These things also are in the minds of people the whole time. So they continuously either worry about the attacks, but also on a personal level. What if I go outside and something happens? My aunt, for example, she wouldn't even let my little cousin play outside. The moment he even dares to put one foot out, she's already there pulling him back in. Like, you're not playing outside. For me, for example, as a Dutch woman going there, I would like to roam around the streets. I like to walk around. And they would always send a cousin with me. They feel like protective of me. One time I remember my female cousin had to walk with me. She was already not feeling it, but I was very happy that she was willing to walk with me. And as we were walking, I was in my own little mind going, I'm so happy I'm walking in Herat. Oh, look at this. The street is beautiful. Everything is great. And I would look at her and her face was just blank because she was the one hearing what all the men driving past us were saying and how they were honking and how they were just keep harassing her. So she asked me if we could take a cab. And of course I said, sure, why not? We as humans have this interesting coping mechanism. I think we tend to normalize every situation we're in. So when I first told my friends that I'd like to go back to Afghanistan, they were all very scared for me. So I tried to calm them down by saying, no, don't worry, I'm not going to Kabul where all the attacks happen. I'm going to Herat. There are still attacks happening there, but I thought that would calm them down. The worst thing that happened to me in Herat, I might get kidnapped. And they will still stare at me like, okay, but how is kidnapping a normal issue? So we constantly have this idea of illusion of safety where we try to go forward to. Despite all this hardship and the fact that Afghans continuously have to go through all these different aspects of safety and security throughout more than 30 years of war, I still feel like they're more alive than we are here. If I think about my uncle, who during the summer works almost every day a week, from 6 to 4, he still finds time after work to pick up his family, take them to a park, and have a picnic. And let me tell you, Afghans don't picnic easily. The whole kitchen has to go with them. So it's not an easy task to do every day. But he feels like he doesn't want his life to be dictated by the conflict. He just wants him and his family to be. So whatever it takes, every day he will go there. He knows very well the risks he's taking by going there. He knows that the road towards the park might be dangerous. He knows that in the park, a lot of things can happen. And yet he still goes and does that. Whereas if I want to have a drink with my friends on a Monday night, I have to convince them because they're all like, no, we have to work tomorrow. Here we're already tired for the next day. Whereas he just continues. So I think that is what I admire the most about Afghans. Their spirit and how they keep continuing with their daily lives despite of everything else that they have been through. And I really hope that one day I can be standing here and I can be talking about you only about the beauty of the country because the conflict would have been solved and ended. So is it difficult to reconcile my romanticized idea of Afghanistan with the conflict reality? Yes, it is. But will it stop me from trying? Definitely not. This is why I want to leave you with a very short video of the city of Herat, which is where I'm from. And I hope that next time you think about Afghanistan, you might take these images with you as well. And I hope this resonates with you. Thank you.